This is the only proof we have of time travel, and it's absolutely terrifying. In 1923, archaeologists uncovered a sealed tomb in Egypt. Inside, they found something that defied logic. A photograph dated 1987. It showed a man in modern clothing standing in front of the tomb, holding a camera. The man was identified as Elon Huck, a scientist who vanished in 1987 while working on a top-secret government project called Kronos. The project's goal? To unlock time travel. But it was shut down after Huck disappeared without a trace. The photograph had a chilling message scrawled on the back. I tried to stop it, but the loop is inevitable. Years later, in 1980, another photograph surfaced. This one showed Elon Huck, now decades older, standing in front of the same tomb. The date on the photo? 2025. Experts were stunned. How could a man exist in 3 different timelines? And what did he mean by the loop is inevitable? The final clue was found in Huck's 1987 lab notes. He wrote, "Time isn't linear, it's a loop, and I'm trapped in it." But here's the twist. In 2023, a team of researchers decided to open the tomb again. Inside, they found a camera, the same one from the photographs. When they developed the film, it showed a picture of them, standing in the tomb, dated 2045.
Imagine that this folder is a dimensional plane. Now, assuming that it is no height and no depth, what would this mean? It would mean that it's a one-dimensional world. So if, hypothetically, an organism was living inside of it, it would only be able to move in a linear path forward and backwards in a straight line. Now, if we go to the second dimension, we have 2 dimensions. We have width and we have length. So hypothetically, if an organism lived inside of here, then it would be able to move up, down, left, right, and anywhere else in between. And a 2-dimensional world is comprised of an infinite series of 1-dimensional worlds stacked upon each other. Just as our 3-dimensional world, which has depth and length and height, is comprised of an infinite series of 2-dimensional worlds. So now that I have stacked many folders upon each other, we have 3 dimensions. We have depth, we have length, and we have width. Now what happens if you keep going on from here on out? We would have a 4-dimensional world. What exactly is the 4th dimension? In order to understand this, we need to understand how dimensions are perceived. We live in the 3-dimensional world, but despite that, we actually view things to be 2-dimensionally. Take a perfect sphere, for example. If you're looking at a sphere, it looks just like a regular 2-dimensional circle. The only way that you can tell it's an actual sphere instead of a circle is because of the hues of light down. So just like in a 2-dimensional world, if a organism in the 2-dimensional world was looking upon a circle, the light... Imagine that this folder is a dimensional plane. Now, assuming that it is no height and no depth, what would this mean? It would mean that it's a 1-dimensional world. So if, hypothetically, an organism was living inside of it, it would only be able to move in a linear path forward and backwards in a straight line. Now, if we go to the second dimension, we have 2 dimensions. We have width and we have length. So hypothetically, if an organism lived inside of here, then it would be able to move up, down, left, right, and anywhere else in between. And a 2-dimensional world is comprised of an infinite series of 1-dimensional worlds stacked upon each other. Just as our 3-dimensional world, which has depth and length and height, is comprised of an infinite series of 2-dimensional worlds. So now that I have stacked many folders upon each other, we have 3 dimensions. We have depth, we have length, and we have width. Now what happens if you keep going on from here on out? We would have a 4-dimensional world. What exactly is the 4th dimension? In order to understand this, we need to understand how dimensions are perceived. We live in the 3-dimensional world, but despite that, we actually...
Look at this. Somebody said Christian rituals. Somebody said, prove it, Vicky. Somebody said, Vicky, prove what you've been teaching over the years for all this time. Look at this, family. I said, look at this, family. Are y'all looking at this Calvary right here? This one here is William Brown family out of Omaha. Are y'all listening? From 1919. Brown was a sacrificial victim, a burnt offering to the Christian God of a white mob. Did you hear what I said? The flames charring and consuming Brown's body, considered by some to be the flames of Jehovah at the burning bush. Did you all know that? See, this is what the white supremacists don't tell you. They didn't teach us all this in school. We had to learn this on our own. But when we did learn about it, y'all just thought that this was just some sadistic white folks going crazy, right? No, baby. For most of them that was involved, many of them that was involved, this was intentional and this was a ritual. Are y'all listening? You better be careful who you're listening to.
People control 90% of everything you see, read, and hear in this country. 10 people. And they want to tell you that Cuba has state-run media. 10 people. Who are those 10 people? Well, you can look them up. They're not hard to find. That, in and of itself, is problematic. When you consider that these 10 people all need permission from the U.S. government in order to have licenses, in order to buy other corporations, in order to do all the nefarious things they like to do, then you really understand what state-run media is. If Martin Luther King were alive today and he were in his 20s, nobody would know who he was because he would never get on TV. That's the difference between 2003 and 1953 or 1963. We live in a completely different era where information is more tightly controlled than it has ever been in the history of this country. 10 people control 90% of every...
Same people who own the labels own the prisons.
Literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. It seems really kind of suspicious that the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison.
While a lot of y'all are bullshitting around on whether you can be on TikTok, while you're getting caught up in some housewife, while you're having your MJ and LeBron debates on who's the GOAT, there is literally, as we speak, an entire focus to gut every single civil right and economic gain that we have had since 1964 because they are pissed with those three acts. They're pissed with the Brown versus Board of Education Act. You have voucher bills that are being pushed in Texas and Tennessee and other places to gut public education. What we have to understand is there is a vicious assault to completely defund Black America.
That to my son. You can't say. Mm-hmm. You can't say that one to my son, okay?
Okay, bye-bye. Oh, yo! Call the cops right now! Call the cops right now! Yo, don't get out!
Are white men. The lead robbers in America are white men. The largest amount of rapists are white men. The highest number of domestic abusers is white men. The highest number of arrested pedophiles is white men. The greatest number of drug dealers arrested is white men. But if you ask the average American who are the proponents of crime, is a black face to it. They're now trying to create this narrative that the immigrants are bringing into crime because they never want to own up to what it is that they have done. Part of our responsibility is to pull the sheets off. We had a shooting here in Georgia not long ago. A young man named Colt, 14 years old, went and shot up his high school. His father's now being charged. Can you imagine what conversation me and you would be having if Colt was black and Colt's black father gave him a gun? The television, the internet would explode on the irresponsibility of black fathers, on why it is that young black men have guns and are carrying guns. It has always shifted to make black men feel hyper-aggressive, hypersexual, and hyper-criminalized. It's part of a larger, historic, original sin of America that always criminalizes and points their fingers at black men when it's absolutely not true.
My nigga, it's 2025 out here. You need to get around you some niggas that want to see you win. You need to get around you some niggas that want to see you living in some shit like this. You need to get around some niggas that want to get some of this. You need to get around some niggas that want to see you win a championship. Not no hating ass nigga that really wants your spot, that's really jealous of you, man. Get away from these niggas. Just cause a nigga a blood or a crip or he one of your partners, nigga, my best homie's crips, nigga. I'm a blood, nigga. But bloods ain't never did nothing but took from it, my nigga. Get around you some niggas that wanna see you win. It's 2025, nigga. Losing is over with. Going back to jail is over with. We out here trying to win. We out here trying to make M's, nigga. Niggas out here hating on me because I know how to do it, nigga. I've been in prison 7 years. You niggas should be putting me on. You niggas in the city should be putting me on. But instead, I'm putting you niggas on. Cut them hoe-ass niggas the fuck out the motherfucking picture and watch your bag go up. West.
I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what,
that
what
wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful.
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that.
3 men stole 2 bulldog puppies from a pet store in Colorado after one of them allegedly faked a seizure, police said. Police say the 3 suspects entered the store separately, scouted the area, and asked about the 2 bulldog puppies, which were each priced at $4,299. As one of the suspects collapsed, another went to the back of the store and grabbed the 2 puppies from a display case, surveillance video showed. The man accused of faking a seizure was arrested, but police are still searching for 3 other suspects, including a getaway driver who helped them escape with the puppies. One of the puppies was later recovered, but the other one is still.
I don't know what kind of times we living in, man. Nothing is serious, right? So I saw a TikTok of this Hispanic guy, and he had got deported, and he's sitting there, and the caption's like, "Yeah, I got deported," and he said, "I'll be back next week." So he's sitting there, he's just drinking this fruity drink, and a few days later, he's like, "Hey y'all, I'm on my way back. I see y'all when I get back." And today, he back. He's standing in front of a building. He's standing in front of a building that's only in America. And he's just standing there with the American flag. That man got deported. He came back in less than 7 days. And he was tagging the president and all his posts, letting him know that he was back. Oh, nothing is serious. Welcome back, brother. Welcome back. I don't know what kind of times we live.
Throw that at me, you're gonna. You back up. Throw that at me, you're gonna.
Them your what?
Them your boys. Fucking well. These are fucking big.
All right, hands up. I shook about this situation, yeah, and I used them. Cracks ain't down tonight. Yeah, cracks ain't down tonight. Who they chasing?
Nobody.
Who was back there, right? Running back there. What are you talking about?
Nobody.
Y'all mad as fuck, I'm smart. Cracks, y'all mad as fuck, I'm smart. Yes, I'm smart. I shook that shit. I shook that shit. Hey.
Calling your name. Shook
What's wrong with the dude?
Hey,
bro, what's wrong with him, bro?
What's wrong with him? Weirdo. What's going on?
Why, he called the police on me?
They call the police for everybody.
Oh, shit.
Cause y'all arguing.
Hey, bro. I tripped on his brick. Oh, my God. He called the police on me. Who great?
Would you kill off the
We've
natives
been
to bring
here.
slaves from across an ocean when you could have turned the natives into slaves? Especially when most slaves in human history were prisoners of war. Why would a people steal people they don't like from Africa, free them, just to oppress them forever just because they're brown skin? Why didn't the US government deport black Americans after they freed the slaves? Mexicans can be deported, but not the non-native black Americans you hate. If Native Americans were actually native, why didn't they fight for their rights on their own land during the civil rights movements with Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, and Martin Luther King? Why didn't Native American leaders step up to be assassinated fighting for their rights on land that was stolen from them by the government? Why, for the past 500 years, the biggest enemy of the US has been its own black American civilians and no one else? Why did the CIA cause the crack epidemic in the black community and no other communities? Why was the police created to catch only black slave runaways when there were other races enslaved along with black people? How does a small minority of a few thousand poor farmers from Europe have both the manpower and resources to enslave tens of millions of Africans? Bring them to the Americas while simultaneously committing genocide against Indians, Mayans, Aztecs, Incas, Caribbeans, and the entire South America, colonizing Africa and fighting Africans all at once? If you believed your homeland was somewhere else, would you have a desire to overthrow the people in power? If all you have to be proud of is 500-year-old slave history, assassinated black leaders, and rap music, would you kill off the native?
Okay, now we're gonna test the Arrowhead water, okay? Okay, barely any light at all. It's dead water, it has no electrical current. Let's try the Dasani. Nope, very dead. Let's try Essentia. Okay, this is supposed to be alkaline water. Nope, nothing. Now let's try Kangen water. Do you see what just happened, guys? This water is electrically charged, okay? It's rich in antioxidants naturally. There's no additives added to the water. It is all created by an electrical process. It's called an electrolysis. Okay, let's go back.
We are the first species.
Pay attention, people. Pay attention.
To be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight. We are the
Coincidence?
Okay, here's the 1 to the 5. The towers are hit. The buildings are falling. The buildings are gone. And all there's left is smoke.
This is what is shown when you fold a $20 bill a certain way. Doesn't that look familiar?
But I warn you, if you make any further inquiries, or if you say a single word to anyone about what you have seen, there will be the most dire consequences. you and your time. But I warn you, if you make it...
The world is not what you have been told. We once had access to free energy, and they've been lying to us ever since. There is significant evidence showing that Nikola Tesla was on course to changing our universe forever. In the early 1900s, Tesla developed a technology called the Wardenclyffe Tower. This was more than just a transmission tower. Tesla designed it so it was able to wirelessly transmit electricity across the globe by harnessing the Earth's natural energy. He was able to power his home and devices without a single wire. But here is where it gets dark. Tesla's invention threatened powerful individuals who controlled the energy market. J.P. Morgan, who initially funded Tesla, pulled the plug on the project when he realized that free energy couldn't be metered or monetized. But it gets even stranger. Tesla's lab mysteriously burnt down, and many of his notes and prototypes disappeared. Tesla's discoveries went beyond just wireless electricity. He hinted at tapping into what he called radiant energy, a limitless source of power derived from the very fabric of space itself, similar to what modern scientists refer to as zero-point energy. Many say that this is also how the Tartarians were able to pull off so many of their technological and architectural feats. Do you think this tower is still in use today?